Okay, so this is gonna be the heaviest weight that I've ever attempted at my house without a spot. Okay, today is gonna be another quick video and also a little bit different. So my brother leaves to go to college in like 2 days, and we're supposed to go to a dinner tonight. And I also got off work a little bit later than I originally intended to. So I'm gonna have to rush through this workout real quick, try to get it knocked out in an hour or so. I'm gonna try to give you guys some tidbits where I can, but it might just be more so of my working sets and talking where I can. Here's one thing that I do differently for almost every home lift. I like to do coffee instead of the normal pre-workout. I'll still get my creatine in, I just put it in, like a normal bottle. But I like to do just black coffee. I'll also add honey and then sometimes some pink Himalayan salt if I want to get super optimal or whatever to have a really good pump / workout. I mean, at the end of the day, you really don't need pre-workout to have a good workout. I myself, I like to do it, and it also is kind of like a placebo for myself, because whenever I am taking it and I feel the effects of caffeine, even if it's just a little bit, I just feel like I have a better workout. So for me, it works. That's basically the intro. We're gonna be hitting chest and shoulders today. It's gonna be my first workout at the home gym. Here at home, I like to start with the same type of thing, these external and internal rotations. I hope you guys can hear me with the fan right there, but here, let me turn away. External, internal rotations, I just do these with the band. It works super similarly. Obviously, it's not the same amount of tension throughout the movement, but it works pretty well. It works for me, and then whenever I do face pulls, I'll just go right here and gets the job done, works the same. From here, I think I'm gonna go into flat barbell bench, which I also haven't done on the channel yet. So I'm excited to do that and see how much stronger I've got there. And then I'm gonna go to incline dumbbell, but the dumbbells that we have only go to like 75, which is just not heavy enough for myself. So sometimes I put the band around my shoulders and I add that extra weight, or I just really, really control the eccentric. Both kind of work. From there, I'm gonna go to the same sort of low to high raise that I showed you guys the other day on this right here. It still works at home, and it actually feels almost better than the Alphaland one because of how it's positioned. So I really like doing that. I can always get a really good chest workout here, and honestly a really good shoulder workout. I don't have the best options for rear delt, so I might skip that for today and then make up for it on the next chest and shoulder day. But we'll see how much time we end up having. I'm gonna go ahead and finish warming up, and then you guys will probably see me do a warm-up set or two on the bench, and then I'll go into my working set, and yeah. Okay, so I wish I had enough time to give you guys the full little home gym tour, but maybe I can do that tomorrow if I end up working out at home. It is a Saturday, so I might be able to get to Alphaland, but it depends because I also have my nephew's birthday, so I might be stuck closer to this area. Some of the cues that I like to have here, well, first of all, I don't know if you guys can tell, this bench is super narrow, which really sucks, especially whenever I go pretty heavy, just because I'm not super stabilized, so that's not ideal. If you are thinking about getting a home gym, I would definitely prioritize getting a really good bench, one that's super wide, because you're able to stack under yourself a lot better when your scapula is retracted, and in your shoulders, when you go down, or like your rear delts are resting on the bench, and you're just a lot more stable and a lot more strong. There's a lot of other things that go into it as well to make you stronger, but I'm not gonna go into that. But if you're making a home gym, definitely invest in the bench. Again, my cues here, track my scapula. I have a healthy, decent arch. I'm not like gonna be like this. I'm not gonna be flat like I'm doing an incline. I'm gonna try to stay just relatively healthy, arched back, what feels comfortable for myself. And then also with my grip, I like to have something that whenever I'm down at the bottom, I have my wrist stacked right over my elbows. So I don't know if you guys are getting exactly what I mean there. When I'm at the bottom, I want my elbows to be aligned, my wrist to be aligned with my elbows at the bottom, because that's just where I feel the most powerful, and also from my experience, it feels the safest. That's a super brief rundown. I'll give more of an explanation on how to get stronger and other things like that, maybe as we get further in the video, if not another video. I think I'm going to go straight, not from here, but you guys, the next thing you'll see is probably my next working set. Okay, I lied. Before going into my last working set, I just want to mention I have about a little less than an hour left, so this is going to be a pretty cramped and quick workout. but I'm still going to get a really, really good chest workout. And if I'm not able to do the most for my shoulders, I will just take this as a deload day for my shoulders, kind of like I did with my leg day with Hudson, and try to just make up for it in the next day, the next chest and shoulder day. But realistically, that's not how it works. It's not like you take off and you can make up for it by going harder. I'm just going to, do the best that I can in the next workout. Secondly, I just wanted to say that even though that this is a really rushed workout and I'm not gonna be the most happy or proud about how this video turns out, I'm sure, I just want to keep that promise to myself that I made, that I'm going to post every single day of 2026, and I want it to be every single day that it's a long form video, which I know is kind of crazy. And I could have made this be where I go do my workout and I'm not kind of trying to video on this time crunch, but I think that it's also another way to push myself and have these constraints that make it more difficult to try to make this video turn out decent. And I did this entire series because I want to push myself and grow in difficult circumstances. So with that all being said, I'm just not gonna miss. All of 2026, I'm just not going to miss. It might not be the best video in the world. The quality might not be as good as the last video, but I'm steadily going to do this throughout the year, and I'm going to put out every single day. And I don't believe in, like I said in my last video, I don't believe in quality over quantity. I don't believe in quantity over quality. I do believe in quality over quantity. But in this circumstance, I think that if I can put out a shit ton of quantity, eventually my quality will catch up. So yeah, I don't really have time to ramble right now, but that's gonna be one of my few rambles for this video. Now the next set is gonna be my working set. Okay, so this is gonna be the heaviest weight that I've ever attempted at my house without a spot. I'm a little bit nervous, but 245 on the last set. I did 2 reps and just to like get acclimated to the movement, and it felt relatively light. So I'm hoping that this will feel the same. These should catch the weight if I do end up dropping it, but hopefully I won't need a spot, but I will not be able to really push myself, as much as I'd like to, just because if I think I have another rep in the tank, but I'm not sure, probably not gonna risk it being here by myself. But I felt really strong that last one, so I'm hoping and praying that I feel relatively near that strength in this set. Had to turn the music on for this one. Yeah. So hopefully I don't fucking die. Here we go. This is my first working set. I've got another one, so I might have to drop the weight if it feels too heavy after this, but we'll see. One more. 1, 2. I wanted to really fight for it. Oh God. I wanted to really fight for it, but I felt some discomfort in my left shoulder, and I'm just not gonna push through that without a spotter. As much as I would have loved to have gotten this weight for 5, the risk outweighed the reward. So yeah, I'm gonna drop the weight probably 5 to 10 pounds. Take off these 10s on the side. Stick with, I think that was 265, so I think I'm gonna go with maybe either 255 or 260. But I'm not super unhappy with getting 4 there. Okay, so I ended up taking off, actually let me put another 5 on. I was gonna say, I think I accidentally took off 20 pounds. I put 5s on. So we took off 10 there. I'm gonna try to do this next set without the elbow wraps, just because whenever I'm on free weight, they kind of shoot my elbows out a little bit whenever I'm not like in a locked in machine. So I don't know if I love using them whenever I'm benching. And also I haven't benched regardless in a while, and I wanted to be able to test my actual strength and see if I'm progressing like I think I am without the straps. So I'm gonna do that here. Hopefully this weight will move. This is still honestly really heavy for me to be here by myself, but we'll see how it moves. The goal is at least 5 reps, but I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get that. But if we don't really have time to fix it and re-optimize it. So just gonna live with it and we'll get there in the next sets. Let's get down. Wow. So I definitely bounced that more than I wanted to. I would rather control that weight a lot better, but sometimes you just gotta lift the fucking weight, man. That felt okay. Not unhappy with that. Gonna go to some incline dumbbell from here. Okay, I usually will do a working set here. I mean, that's the opposite of what I'm trying to say right now. I usually would do a warm-up set here, but I don't really have the time to do that. And this weight is not particularly heavy. So I'm gonna go ahead and go into my working set here. Yeah, I'll explain my cues afterwards since I already have the dumbbells on my legs. Okay. That definitely hit the concrete. Need to get this back some. So let me make sure my face is, I'm just gonna hold it because I don't think my face is in the frame. So that's a lot lighter than I want it to be, but whenever I really get strict with my form there and control the eccentric, I'm able to make it feel heavier than it actually is. I don't know if that exactly makes sense to somebody that's a beginner, but here, let me set this here and see if I can give you guys a better visual representation of what I'm saying. So whenever I'm performing this motion, I want to have my back flat because your upper pecs are responsible for flexion and adduction. And if you're here and you're arching like this, you're basically performing a flat press because of looking how your chest is aligned. So like if I'm like this and I'm pressing, it's the exact same as me being on the flat bench over there because of how my chest is angled. Look at it this way. So when I'm here, so this would be like an incline here, okay? I know it looks declined. Use your imagination a little bit. This would be like an incline here. If I go like this, I'm now in a flat bench. Does that make sense? That's probably not the best representation. I would like to move that over there or lift this up and down and explain it for you guys better. Just don't really have the time to do that. If you have questions, I can explain in the comments or maybe make a separate video better explaining it. I also like to have my elbows more tucked in because that does but it gives you more of a flexion whenever you're trying to target your upper pecs. So I keep my back flat on the bench, keep my elbows relatively tucked in, and then I really try to focus on controlling the eccentric. For the most part, I wouldn't usually focus on the eccentric as much, but since I don't have the weight to get that proper stimulus, if I was doing it at the normal like descent that I usually would, I would get 20 to 30 reps here. So that's what I do to make it work. I don't think I'm gonna record another set just because, like I said, we're in a rush here. I'm gonna go from there to the low to high fly, whatever you wanna call it. And then I'll explain why that's the best chest movement for your upper pec, probably ever. Okay, so this is my last working set here. The reason that I really love this machine also is because, not this machine, but this movement in particular, is because it's so good at targeting flexion. I'm not super focused on adduction here, which is going across your body. Flexion is coming upwards, and that's what your upper pec is responsible for. But I really like how this hits flexion because I'm able to get a super deep stretch and extension. I'm not, going full Israel here, but I think that the full range of motion for the upper pec in particular is super important. The one at alpha lane is decent, but it kind of stops like right around here unless I sit like way up and then I lose some stability. So I'm able to have my back pressed against here and I'm locked in, so I can go a lot heavier in the weight, and then I also still get that stretch that I'm looking for. And that's basically it. The stability is really good here. This is my last working set, and then I'm gonna go into shoulders. I honestly might not even go into shoulders depending on how much time we have, but okay, here we go. Okay. And this is another one of those movements that's also kind of rare for myself where it looks like I'm doing lengthened partials here, but this portion from here to here is basically the vast majority of the flexion that I'm looking for. So when it comes to flexion, I'm getting a full range of motion. From here to here is more so adduction, and it's not a huge focus for me on this particular movement because I do feel that my front delt tends to take over the movement. I'm gonna record my left side. I don't know if I'm gonna post it because it's basically the exact same thing. Okay, last set there. Let's see how much time we have left. So I've got about almost 20 minutes. I'm gonna try to get some really good side delt work here, and then most likely just leave out my rear delts. And the reason that I'm okay with doing that is because I don't think that my rear delts are lacking in my physique, and my shoulders overall are definitely a strong point for myself. So if I am going to, you know, not go all in on any, need to tighten this, not go completely in on any muscle group, my shoulder would be the one, my shoulders would be the one that I would be most likely to do that for, because I have really good shoulder genetics in comparison and relative to the rest of my physique. So I'm gonna start some side delt here, try to get 3 to 4 working sets, and then most likely not gonna go into rear delt. And then after I do this set, I'll explain why I don't ever directly train my front delts.
Okay. How many times do I have to tell you? When you're crying, you're beautiful too. Okay, going into, so that's way too heavy. Going into lateral raises here. I warmed up with the 25s over there, so I want to go into my first working set. I haven't done this at home in so long. I'm not exactly sure what my weight would be for right now, so I'm going to try to fill this out, and then once I get a weight that works, I'm going to cut to that portion. I love this movement because I have it attached to my elbow, and then I stabilize myself here, so I'm going like this. Cuts out my forearm activation. I don't need to use straps or anything like that, and then it keeps the tension really good throughout the majority of the movement. I lose it a little bit at the very top, but for an at-home lateral raise, this works really good.
So that's a little bit too light. What are we gonna add? I probably should have left the 25s on there. We'll see. I'm gonna find a way that works, and then I'm gonna cut to it. If you have any shoulder pain, which I have a shit ton of, whenever I perform this movement, if I'm able to cut out my forearm, I think it's whenever I have the tension on my wrist, and it requires a lot more stabilization in your shoulder joint itself. I'm not gonna go into detail explaining exactly why, just because I really gotta kick into another gear to finish this workout here. But I feel a lot better when I put it directly on my humerus. Shoulder joint just feels a lot more stable. I feel a lot stronger in the movement. Maybe next chest and shoulder day, I'll dive deeper into that topic and explain exactly why. But again, it's gonna be a pretty short video. That felt really good. On this next set, I'm gonna incorporate this ghost grip. So obviously this is gonna be attached to anything, but whenever you're able to grip really hard, your motor units, you're able to recruit more motor units. So you're gonna be actually stronger due to a ghost grip. It's definitely weird, and as a beginner, you might feel really weird doing it, but anybody who's been in the gym for a fairly long, okay, I'm not gonna say anybody because it's honestly a pretty niche thing to do, but if you can explain it in a way that makes sense whenever somebody asks you, that's all that really matters. So I might record another set or two here. I believe that'll be it. I'm not gonna incorporate traps because, again, whenever I hit my back days, a lot of the time, if I feel like I'm not decompressing my shoulders enough, and I tend to shrug at the back of the movement, and I have a lot of more upper trap recruitment than I would like to have, then I won't target traps on my chest and shoulder days. And my last chest day I did, or my last back day I did with Hudson, I was really shrugging, and my path looked like I was involved in and incorporating a lot more trap than I wanted to. So I'm not gonna do that today either. And gonna leave out rear delts, although I would like to hit them. But hopefully just gonna make up for it next chest and shoulder day. Gonna do 3 more working sets there, and then call it a day, super fast workout. If I don't end up recording more, I really appreciate you guys watching this far, and I hope that I can continue to make my videos better, and actually bring you guys content that makes sense and is inspiring and all the shit. So thank you guys, have a blessed one. I know I did the outro and the video is over, but I didn't show you guys the example of using the ghost grip. So let me show you guys real quick. And then the video will be over. Another thing is, last thing, before I end the video, you don't want to go directly out to your side whenever you're trying to bias your side delt. I always thought, and a lot of people do think, that side delt means go completely to the side. You're actually going to be a lot weaker and at a greater risk for injury. So you want to be a little bit out in front of yourself, and that's going to recruit more side delt than anything else. I also forgot to mention, the reason I don't train front delt is because you get a shit ton of stimulus in doing all of your pressing movements. So whenever I'm here, I'm using my front delts. Whenever I'm in incline, I'm using my front delts, and even here, I'm using my front delts. Wish I could give a deeper explanation for everything. I definitely will next chest day. This is the actual outro. Thank you guys for watching. God bless.